about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Wellness Wednesday, which is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to chat about some interesting topic. And today we are picking up part two. Yes, part two of You Have to Be a Man to Say What a Man Is. We originally had this conversation back on March 20th of this year. And so I brought my very special guest back, Mr. Andre Shaw II, who is a clinician here in Tallahassee, Florida, to talk around this topic. It is Men's Health Month. And so I feel like it's no time like this time to talk about this topic. So before I bring Mr. Shaw on, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? Let us know in the comments what city and state so we can give you a shout out. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. And this is interactive. So your comments, your questions are welcome. Please like, please share, please tag somebody and tell them y'all need to be on here because this is going to be a good conversation. And ladies, you are welcome to chime in. Excuse me. All right. So I see you, Miss Brittany. Thank you for being here. She's here in Tallahassee. I appreciate your support always. All right. I know there'll be more of you chiming in, but I'm going to go ahead and share Mr. Shaw's bio. Andre Shaw II is a mental health therapist and a community liaison for mental health as well. He graduated from the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, Go Rattlers, with his bachelor's in psychology in 2008 and his master's in psychology in 2010 after deferring his thesis on views of masculinity. He had a chance to travel the country before he began doing therapy, which gives him a unique emphasis on sustaining peace and broadening your perspective. He taught multiple psychology courses for 2 years. He has been in the field for 5 years, mostly working with male at-risk youth or at-risk male youth from disadvantaged communities. He is also the founder of Just an Ear Professional Listening Services. Y'all help me welcome Mr. Andre Shaw II. Yay!
Greetings. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
All right, I feel wonderful. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me once again.
Absolutely. My pleasure having you. So, before we get started with our conversation, if you don't mind sharing just a little bit about who Andre Shaw II is, not what you do, but who are you?
Well, Andre Shaw II is a healthy black man who is proud to be black and who is proud to know his history. I may be considered a professional person, but if you get to know me, I'm a little goofy. I love music. I'm actually obsessed and addicted to music. And my favorite thing is how people, observing people and getting to know them, the things they think about, and what makes them do what they do.
All right. Love it. Obsessed with music. That's a new little tidbit I hadn't heard before. Who,
Yeah, I love the music.
who are some of the artists that you like to listen to?
Well, besides everybody, it
Really?
ranges. It ranges. I'm talking about from international music, but I would say I like, of course, R&B, black R&B, old school
Okay.
R&B. I even like hip hop because I'm an '80s baby. Uh,
Okay.
but right now, I'm gonna give some attention and credit to Bilal. Go listen to Bilal. Check him out.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
what's
that
up.
type of soul.
Right.
And I really enjoy the new R&B today. It has evolved, but it's worth listening to. They're very talented, and it's 2024. You
Okay.
get what you get,
Now, who do you consider to be new R&B?
sir.
Okay.
Um, Man, I have a playlist. There's a guy named Imok. I really like Summer Walker. I'm sorry, but her voice is flawless.
It is. She's got a beautiful voice.
SZA, but I like underground R&B. So
Okay,
um,
gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta look at my playlist because I got all.
Okay, but we gonna have to talk music offline. Uh,
Okay, we'll do.
yeah. All right, cool. My cousin Bernadette Ingraham is tuning in from Miami, Florida. Thank you for joining us, cuz. Love you. Appreciate you. All right, so we gotta give a recap.
Mhm.
Wait, but before we do, I gotta do my disclaimer. Doggone it, I always forget that part. And I know, since you work in this world of therapy and counseling, you know that disclaimers are important, right?
Yes, you gotta
Yeah.
give them consent and debrief them.
Yes. So all topics past, present, and future on Conversations with Nicole are for informational purposes only, not to be used as a diagnosis for treatment or an answer to any personal issues related to the topic being discussed before, during, or after the program. All right. And Berna says she listened to Bilal today. Boom.
Got good taste, great taste.
Yes, she does. She does. She is a music lover as well. All right, so we about to dive into this topic. You have to be a man to say what a man is, part 2. So we got to start with a recap. Got to start with a recap, and I think a great place to start, as it relates to the recap, is we're talking more than biology when we talk about what a man is, right?
100%.
Mm,
100.
mhm.
Okay, so would you like me to go ahead and get into
Yes,
it?
please.
Okay, so the recap is when I was younger, me and several gentlemen, we decided to create this group, this low key community group.
Mhm.
And the first thing we started to do, uh, we had our girlfriends. They did their thing, and the men did their thing. And we started off with what gender is. And so we learned from older men what manhood and what masculinity is. And one of the things that we learned is first you can start with the roles.
Okay.
Uh, First, you are a son, then you are a brother. Whether
Mm,
you're, even if you don't have any siblings, you will be a brother to your friends.
mhm.
Then you grow up to become a brother with your friends,
Mm,
and you should become a husband, and then a father,
okay.
and a active member of your community, man of your community, and then a man of your people.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so those are the roles, and they lay out those roles lay out different things that you are expected to do.
Mm,
Young boys should be guided by older men. They should be tested and tried, and they should be built up to learn um, how to have strong character, how to be strong, how to protect others, how
mm,
to stand for something, and how to think for themselves, not be a followers, and to be led, you know, basically in ways of destructive ways that harm others or impact others in negative ways,
right.
mislead others. You understand what I mean?
Mhm.
Yep. To play your position as a husband
Mhm.
and fulfill your duties as a person who is trying to maintain his home and his family, which you look to procreate.
Yes. 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 All right. I see Sharice just joined us from Atlanta. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here. So, all right. So, just so we're recapping because we
Mhm.
we're gonna go deeper, but son, brother, friend, husband, father for the family.
Father for your family, and then a man of your community and a man of your people.
For people. Okay, gotcha.
Hmm. Yep.
Mm,
Especially being black, because if you understand that we are of a people who should be working collectively and taking care of each other, as opposed to being individualistic and survival of the fittest, things we learned back in black psychology.
mhm.
But yeah, we should include our people instead of just be about ourselves.
Indeed, indeed. So a whole bunch of folks just joined us. So let me acknowledge them quickly. Miss Jeanette down in Miami Gardens, thank you for being here. Brother Malcolm, who is here in Tallahassee, appreciate you tuning in. Brother Michael Cork, who is also here in Tallahassee, thank you for joining us. And Mr. Marcus Boston down in Tampa. Appreciate you all. We are talking about you have to be a man to say what a man is, part 2. And we are recapping our conversation from back in March, where we talked about the roles of manhood, which start out with son, brother, friend, husband,
Hmm.
father, and being a man of your community, and then a man of your people or for your people.
Hmm. And if I might say, as you step into your teens,
Mhm.
you you start to learn how to embrace your self identity, which
Okay.
that's very important. That's something that I believe we as black people struggle with,
Mm-hmm.
because we should have a clear idea of who we are as
Mm-hmm.
individuals, and be open to who other people are, so we can learn how to embrace, accept them, guide them, and have them play the roles in our community that would better our community and help us improve our overall circumstances. And so as a teenager, you're coming into yourself, you're learning about your personality, you still struggle with the way you see things cognitively, you think with your emotions. But as you get older, you should be guided by older men who can teach you um, why some of your friends won't last as long as you think they will.
Mm,
Why it's important to protect your sister and make sure no one violates her. Why
mm-hmm.
you should also protect your homegirls or your female friends, and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that no one is allowed or able to attack her, and even do your best to like keep the peace, which I think that is the part where we slip up. We start to follow different models and images that we see all over, today is social media, but the images that are put all over our faces through artists and actors, and we end up following models that are simply not real.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be there to protect, right, and provide, which
Mm-hmm.
is what husbands do and fathers do: protect and provide, amongst many other things. You still have to teach. You have
Right.
to teach your sons the right way. You have to teach your daughters how to find someone who will truly, genuinely love, and how that looks. And you should reflect the type of man that you want her to end up with. And
Mm-hmm.
you should also be able to show your children how to love by them watching how you love your wife.
Okay. So I'm gonna shake this up a little bit. I'm gonna
Mhm,
have the viewers get involved.
mhm.
What do you all believe a man is? Let us know in the comments. What makes up a man? What makes up a man? And this for everybody. Male and female, let us know in the comments. My sister Shayla has just joined us. She's down in South Florida. Thank you for being here, Shay. Love you. And James Coleman said, "Good evening, Ken folk."
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for being here. All right, let us know if you don't mind sharing. Safe space, no judgment. What's a man? What makes up a man? And again, we're not talking biology. What makes up a man? What are
Come
the
on,
characteristics of a man? Let us know.
come on,
So
fellas.
we yeah, come on, fellas. Come on, fellas. Y'all check on in here tonight. Check on in. So we talked about roles, and you were talking about also maturity as it
Mhm.
relates to maybe in during adolescence and the teenagers as you make your way into adulthood. Or
Yes.
yeah, men
And,
make their way into adulthood.
and one of the important things about, I'll never argue with a man about what he says manhood is,
Mm-hmm.
because what he says will somehow, some way align with what I have to say, and we need to be the ones creating our own definitions.
Mm-hmm.
If you can look up any literature, um, it'll say that definitions of black manhood have been incorrect for decades,
Mm-hmm.
and just over the past maybe 2 or 3 decades, they have started to be a little more empathetic and honest with what actually goes on with black men and their experiences. We're not violent, we're not hostile, we're not predators, and we are not all at the bottom trying to pull each other down. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know people are familiar with the saying, the crabs in a bucket mentality,
Right.
but I've heard the rebuttal to that is crabs don't act like that when they're not in a bucket. you know
Mm-hmm.
and so if we are able to come together and set the tone, set the example, and establish the definitions and the constructs of what we have to say about black manhood and masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
then we'll lay a foundation for the new generations to follow. And things change over time.
They do.
And so we should never get lazy or comfortable with, yeah, that's what manhood is and will always be. We need to tell the young man, hey, this is what we think. Now tell me what you're experiencing so we can refine what manhood is.
Okay. My
Mhm.
mom just joined us from Miami. Thank you for being here. And then Brother Malcolm said that manhood or the characteristics of man are protect, provide, and set examples for family. Set examples for family. Thank you for sharing, Malcolm. So, um, I agree. Oh, Dr. Williams is here now as well. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Williams. He's here in Tallahassee. So, I I I like what Malcolm is saying in terms of protection and providing, but I also believe that oftentimes, um, and he says set examples as well, but I think oftentimes men have been, mm, I don't know, socialized to think that that's all there is to it. It's
To
just the
protect.
protection. It's just the protection and provision piece.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay, so you saying you basically want to address more than that idea that we're just here to protect and provide.
Hmm.
Okay, so uh,
I'm gonna
Miss,
I'm gonna, I'm gonna put Cork's comment up. He
oh yeah,
says
there
he
you go.
says sadly in these times we have to start with biology.
Mhm.
Beyond that, it's the innate, maybe he meant innate
Mhm.
masculine energy that drives him to lead his family and community. A man is a leader. Okay.
100%, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
And with that being said, in my opinion, masculine energy, first and foremost, testosterone. That's something that builds us into who we eventually become. That gives us our shoulders. It gives us our facial hair. You
Mhm.
know, um, it gives us the biological differences that we have from what a girl or female is to
Mhm.
become a woman, and we take action. We
Mhm.
like to challenge ourselves and each other. We like to be competitively. We like to compete physically. And
Mhm.
see if every now and again we like to see, well, if you can beat me today, I'm going to come back and see if I can beat you tomorrow, or show me how to do that thing that boys do or men do that I don't know how to do. And so
Mhm.
we should shape and mold each other.
Mm.
We also bring the discipline, and if you look at fathers, it's not as hard for fathers to check children as it is for mothers at times. Fathers will probably say to themselves, "It don't take all that
Wh-
talking."
why is that? You are absolutely correct, but why is that?
As Mr. Cork said, it's a biological thing. I believe that is the way we are created,
It
and since
is.
we compliment you all, that has been something, that gift of saying, "All right, you got one more time," or "Hey," and that's all it's.
I think it's the bass in the voice. That's what I think. Anyway,
Everybody don't have bass in their voice.
I know, but I don't know. Is that authority something? I don't know about it,
There
but
you go. There's an authority to us, which also aligns with him saying that we are leaders.
yes.
We should naturally become leaders, and we get the practice in, as we're younger, we're being shaped and molded into leaders. But the men have to teach the boys how to become that.
Indeed. All right, we got more
Mhm.
comments. Berna said a man provides security and sensitivity. Okay. Uh,
Mhm.
thank you, Berna. ML Williams, lead, protect, provide for top three. Okay. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that. And ML said, I have a question. Do you feel a man who has no desire to be a father or husband can still speak on what a man is? Ooh, that's real good. Cork, I'm gonna come back to your question too. And Malcolm said also teach. Hold on, and we're gonna get you ML Williams. Let me just get these comments. Cynthia Locke. Hey, Cynthia. She said, prayerful provider, teacher, sensitive warrior for God and family, a mentor for anyone. And you're right, a disciplinarian. Okay, so let's go back to ML's question real quick. Do you feel a man who has no desire to be a father or husband can still speak on what a man is?
100% yes.
Okay.
Some men have tried to be husbands and they failed, and some men have tried to be fathers and they weren't capable. That doesn't take away all of the other aspects of what creates a man
Mm,
and how a man has been tried and tested. He may join the military, and he may, rise in the rankings, and he may lead people in different ways. And even even the idea that men should be, oh, I don't want to touch that subject just now,
Go
but
ahead. Don't be scared.
even the idea that some men have tried to be in relationships, but they're just not good at it. We're not perfect. Men are not perfect beings. We're
Mm,
not perfect masculine beings. Where there's nothing that is, in my opinion, that makes us perfect men, but we're just striving to become a man. And besides, you have a range of time, you have a lifespan to learn when you can be a man.
mm,
And the man who is not good at it now, he may be growing, and given the right environment that is healthy for him, he may end up changing his mind and saying, I do want to be a father. I have found a woman that makes me want to be a husband. This is worth all of the energy and money I'm going to spend and trying to create a home. I do want this home filled with feminine presence who can supply all the feminine needs that I can't supply myself.
mm.
That's my answer to the question.
Okay.
And those are the roles they play, but all men don't even get to reach that point.
Mhm. Okay.
Mhm.
Some
Yeah.
great comments. Court said, "Manness is ever evolving person to person." Okay.
Yeah.
I
I'd,
agree with
I'd, I would like to add to that. The
that. Okay.
times are changing.
Mm,
There are different eras. You have I don't know if it was the agricultural era, but you had the industrial era. Now we're in the technological era, and
mhm,
things change over time. We no longer have to be working the railroads. we're working cybersecurity or
Mhm.
engineering and all of the different ways you can do engineering. And as things change and evolve, we still can come back and say, all right, Black men, what is manhood today? We're no longer slaves. We're no longer marching down to Wall Street, but we're creating all of these programs that were taken away from us, as we see happening here in Tallahassee. We're creating a lot of programs here for young boys to spend their time and socialize with other boys
Mhm.
under the guidance of men.
Okay. Let me go back to Cork's other question, which was, why do you think a man's role is beyond protecting and providing? What is that based off? Actually, it's based off what you mentioned earlier, which was about masculine energy.
Hmm.
And so I think the energy of man, masculine energy
Hmm.
is protective, it is provision, but it's also um confident, it is strength, it's responsibility, it's focus, it's logical, um,
Yeah.
it's stability in some regards, it's direction, it's
Action.
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 Yes,
Is is
yes.
is you can protect and provide, but then we can also consider like the different dimensions of what one thing means. Providing could be bringing money. Providing can also be just being aware. Every man should be aware of what's happening around his environment. So I
Mhm,
can protect you if I know what's going on. We should.
mhm,
That's and one of the problems, in my opinion, with our community is how apart we are and how easy it is for us to attack each other when we disagree. And
mhm, mm,
I believe that it has gotten worse. I'm about to get a little deep into the work that I actually do.
okay.
So I spend time with a lot of youth and I get to learn the things that they're dealing with. And so what they're dealing with today is the effects of like the cancel culture. There was a time when there was no such thing as cancel culture. Then it
Mm,
popped up, it was new. Now being raised up under cancel culture, influencing people, their friendships are short. You know, first of
mm,
all, they're virtual. They'll make friends in Canada on the game,
right.
and Carolina I've never seen before, but you're my friend. Where we're on
Mhm,
the game shooting at each other for hours on end, yelling and screaming and raging. And if you disagree with what I say when we come together in school and it's real, if you disagree with what I say, you're ostracized. You can't be with us anymore. Instead of, oh, you just have a difference in opinion and I respect your opinion and let's agree to disagree. They
mhm,
don't move like that. They don't act like that. I believe that they're hyper aggressive and hypersensitive to anything, thanks to cancel culture. So as times change and as different factors play in our society, I believe we have to revisit what's going on, and we can protect and provide. But if we were teachers, if more men were teachers in school, school would be ran differently. And it's not just the teaching. Okay, go
mhm.
ahead.
No, I I
Okay.
would agree with that. While I did have I'm just thinking about my experience, but, while I did have
Mhm.
more female teachers growing up, I do recall there being some strong male, um, teachers and leaders, and I know listen, I didn't want no problems with them at all. So,
Right, right,
they was not gonna get no problems out of me because I didn't wanna cross their path or see, whatever that
right.
that strong hand side of them was, so
And so if every man is trying to make the most money and no men are saying, hey, we need to take action and become teachers,
mhm,
then you have the conditions that we have in school today. People learning on a computer and missing out half of the lessons and grasping the actual lessons and skills that they're supposed to grasp,
mhm,
and policies that don't make any sense. coming in and affecting their education level. And so now we're just focusing on providing, but we're not focusing on how education is going to have so much to do with their future quality of life and their
Mhm.
well-being and their ability to earn and you know uh what does they call it, upward mobility of our community is,
Mhm.
we're not addressing all of the factors, and there's so many that if we just focus on two, then we say this is all we need to do. And when times change, it's like, all right, well, what should we do today? you
Right.
know so the conversation needs to take place,
It
and
does.
definitions, we need to clash and see what we agree with and don't agree with until we come to compromise. That's what
Okay.
manhood is. That's what
That's what ma
masculinity is.
that's what masculinity is. All right. Thank you for that.
Hmm.
She has joined us. She's here in Tallahassee. James Coleman said consistent action. That I think that was part of his definition. And Cork said all of those things are the tools to protect and provide. So all of those energy characteristics that I mentioned earlier, I think is what he was referring to. All
Hmm.
right, we got Stan Kelly. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can say protect and provide, but
Mhm.
some people will never ever get beyond what you mean by protect and provide.
Okay, we can
And
we can
so,
we can explore that.
and so, yes, we all men know that we should protect and provide. We know that naturally, and we've heard it. You know what I'm saying? But there's more to manhood than just leaving it at the umbrella. You know,
Mm,
we sh- we have to test each other. We have to know who we are. We have to set the right examples. We have to teach. We have to groom. I have to give you skills. You understand what I'm saying? I have to
mhm,
watch you and see what talents you have, and talk to the other adults and say, hey, when you're with him, this is what he's good at. Let's see if his career can be this, so he can
mhm.
contribute this way to the community. If we're thinking long term and beyond just what the umbrella is, which is what we're breaking down now. This is what manhood
Which is what we're breaking.
is. Hmm.
Exactly. It's what we break it down. So we're a little beyond half through our talk. The time is flying by. And so for those of you who are just tuning in, I am on with Mr. Andre Shaw II, who is a mental health therapist here in Tallahassee, having graduated from the Florida A&M University in psychology in 2008, got his master's in 2010. And we are actually doing part two of a discussion that we had back in March around you have to be a man to say what a man is. So we've talked around the roles of becoming a man, son,
Hmm.
brother, friend, husband, father, a man, mature man for your community, for your people. We talked about the roles in terms of not roles, but the action in terms of protection and provision, as well as masculine energy, which I thought was definitely worth mentioning. And folks, our viewing audience has chimed in with their thoughts about what manhood is and what makes up a man. So, Dr. Well, hold on, let me back up. Stan Kelly, you asked, what do you do, Mr. Shaw? So I hope I answered that question
Yes.
with my kind of recap. Dr. Willie Williams, who is here in Tallahassee as well. Thank you for joining us. He said we must ask the question, what role today's society, including our Black women, has played in Black men feeling they need to have money or bank to have social status? Hmm, good question.
Yes.
Good question. Good question. So I'm gonna again do a little twist. Throw that out to the audience.
Okay.
What do you all
And
think, viewers? Let's hear from the viewers. Let us know in the comments what role in today's society, including our Black women, what role have Black women played in Black men feeling like they need to have money, bank to have social status? So you got to have a baller, right? You got to have a six-figure man, right? I don't know. Well, I don't know. Y'all tell us. Let us know. Let us know. Miss Gloria Sellers, my godmom who is in Brooklyn, New York, is on. Thank you for being here. Dr. Willie said we have in a sense lost our identity in trying to be so much for so many others. Good
Mm.
question. Good question. Good question. So yeah, let us know comments. In the comments. Uh
That society done to us.
yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. All right. Brother Malcolm, my father did that for myself and my friends community, taught all of us skills and good work ethic. All
Yes,
right.
sir. 100%.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
Can I say something to that?
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
Some 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 boys don't have the luxury of being taught that, and
Mhm.
it takes them years to realize the things that they missed.
Mm,
And it's always a blessing to have that help that comes along and guides you, and keeps you out of trouble, one, but then lets you know, yeah, you can't be lazy, you have to work, you got to get a job. This is how you select and look for and select your career, and this will give you a good quality of life in your future. you know
mm,
it's so
gotcha.
yep.
Yeah, indeed. Berna said there are so many males out here that didn't get your assignment that so much retraining would have to be done to get us back on the old school track of the definition of being a man.
Mm.
That is a that's a very intriguing and interesting point. Yeah, I agree in many regards. I do. Michelle, she said, I also think discernment is important with protection. Men need a safe space to be vulnerable, or we will continue to see the floods of hypermasculinity that many classify as being a man. How would you advise a young man to teach himself to be that way if he is not in an environment that encourages it? Great question.
Okay, so let me get all of the parts of the question and make sure that I answer it all.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, thinking about discernment,
Man, need a safe
important with
space. Okay.
protection,
So,
and needing
uh,
a safe space to be vulnerable.
yes, first and foremost, boys don't feel comfortable talking about their feelings. And, we like to play, we like to laugh, we like to have fun. I was asking a set of boys today, who they are. And, they talk about, like you asked in the beginning, what they do. I like to play, I like to run, I like math, and so to be able to, one, understand who you are and how what your personality actually means while you're young, that
Mhm,
that allows you to have a sense of self-awareness that can probably mature into being
mhm,
able to be able to monitor your reaction to certain things. We all have to learn, and we all learn through people, you know. And I always say, if you really want to learn yourself, get in a relationship. And a relationship, not all relationships are going to last forever, but sometimes relationships are just there to teach you, the truth about yourself, and
mhm.
not just be recognizing the truth about your partner, because it
Right.
works both ways. And so,
Mhm.
one of the things that young men and men benefit from is silence.
Mm.
Oh, I don't need we don't need you knowing everything. We don't need you pressing to get the answer right away. My brain does not work that fast,
Uh,
biologically speaking, in terms
ooh, I hope the women are getting this like you putting this down,
of
Andre, because baby, that
our
is
brains
one of
cannot
the
process
that's one of
10.
the number one complaints. But go
You
ahead.
understand what I'm saying? Sometimes we need time. Sometimes we need a different type of energy, as opposed to being confronted or treated as though you need to have a seat so I can talk at you. Because if you recognize in your sons, that only makes him shut down or be rebellious. And in fact, all of the okay, let me keep it professional. All of the yelling,
He was getting
all
excited, y'all. Did y'all see
yeah, I
that?
was
He was
real comfortable.
excited.
But all of the yelling and the accusing and all of the talking when the lesson has already been taught is unnecessary to your sons and even to your daughters, because now it is felt as nagging, and it makes me have to spend 30 minutes evaluating myself and processing this unnecessary conflict that could have just been a simple lesson. So communication on both ends is important. Watching and observing your partner, and watching and observing the person that you love, be it your child or your partner, and recognizing their style, what makes them shut down, spending more time with them. Don't let them get on that game and disappear to their room and don't even know what they're watching on their new latest iPhone. You know, um, be in their lives in a harmonious way, in a peaceful way, because if you want your man to thrive, sometimes he needs silence, sometimes he needs to get away, and sometimes he needs to go fishing. Because that's the only place he can go to get stillness, peace, and a whole space to think.
Got it.
That's
Uh,
my response.
Janetta just joined us. Thank you for being
Hey,
here.
Janetta, what's happening?
Yes, and Cynthia said, "Oh my goodness, my teenage son literally told me that yesterday." Mm.
Yes, because it's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
And Pete said it's true. Let me see. So Marcus answered the question about that Dr. Willie had. He said some black women wanted bad boys, so some black men became thugs.
Yes,
Mm,
yes. Which
yeah. So we were talking about the impact that black women had on uh black men. What role today's society, including our black women, has played in black men feeling they need to have money, bank, to have social status.
and
Mhm.
can I share something?
Sure.
So if we look at our condition today, um, we like to blame a lot of things on music, right? And hip hop, right? But before
Mm,
hip hop and before hip hop became the entity that it is, a powerful entity, it was an idea that was created by us in a
mhm,
particular region. Now, if we would have known better, we as a community would have had the idea that, okay, this is ours. Before we present our intellectual property, this new idea that we created to the world, let's
mhm,
let's register it as our own. Let us be the controllers of this new form of art. So then this industry wouldn't have been created by others who are benefiting from it and affecting us who are affected by it. It would simply be in our control, and the images that we want out there will get out there. You
mm,
understand what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm tying this in, but while we're talking about how society has affected us, they
mm,
continue to take our creations
mhm,
and put money around it and sell it to us and control it. So
mm,
the creations that we naturally come up with, we need to be a little more aware, a little more knowledgeable of how to own your own stuff. We're coming up with a lot of LLCs and businesses and stuff like that. But we, in my opinion, almost all of our communities are worth millions of dollars, but we just don't know that. We don't feel that. We won't put that on our image and our identity.
all right. Well,
Mhm.
thank you for that point. Berna wants to know, where are the fathers like the ones we had?
Okay, so you want the audience to answer first, so you want me to answer? 'Cause
Well,
because
if we're talking black community, I believe that integration played a big part in the fathers that we had, because black men couldn't go everywhere, black people couldn't go everywhere. So we had closer knit communities, in my personal opinion. And so,
Mhm.
I feel like we had more of a village mentality, as well as socially we're more kind of village related or connected. That's just my thought about it. So,
Okay.
mhm,
Okay. There's research. If anybody is a nerd like me, if you look up some what is it, sociological research on black men and masculinity, there's
mhm,
like breakdowns of the image of black people and how we were first viewed. We did not control our definitions in literature about who we are. Others were able to do so, and the way we were viewed is being poor and being hostile and being treated as such. And over time, um, that the conditions that we struggle with, not being able to have the type of work that we should have been able to get, that we qualified for,
mhm,
we did what we could, I believe, and during the civil rights era, and we fought. Martin Luther King, that was a real man. Malcolm X, that was a real man. And I'm not saying they were the only man, but that was the example of a real man. Like, I want to be like him. Look at how he's leading other men. I even say Minister Farrakhan, that is a real man who takes the risk of dedicating his life to the betterment of like a congregation and school of thought. And so from the images of us being troublemakers, the way we carry ourselves in public, we have basically been under attack. And the black man, who is should be the glue to the black family and community, has been
mhm,
under attack, and that has affected us in so many ways. Where when it comes to friendships, and this is speaking about black manhood and masculinity, if I'm
mhm,
going to become friends with someone, that's weird to me. I'm cautious about why this person is trying to become a friend. What is he going to do to me? It's hard for grown men to make friends, like real new friends, because we carry all of these different ideas. And so I believe that we don't we don't necessarily stick together the way we should
hmm,
and uplift each other. And so that's just the friend part. And education, uh, like I was speaking of earlier, not just black men being teachers, but black men being involved in schools. Some of these young black boys are treated unfairly in elementary school, middle school, and high school by
mhm.
the resource officers, by the assistant principals. They have social workers that are there who are really not even trying to help them out. And so they give up, not on school, but they mistrust the process, that education is important to me. We allow them to go to schools that don't give them much of anything. They end up not knowing what type of career that they will be good at. They end up not knowing all the different types of industries available to them, and they end up grabbing jobs, working at restaurants. And
So
anyway, go ahead.
is that the responsibility of school, or is that the responsibility of parents and family and things of that nature? I mean, I
That
guess
is,
I feel like parents are the primary educators, and so part of that is the exposure that they provide to their children in some regards.
well, first, that's the explanation of what's happening to the fathers. The
Mhm.
fathers are struggling, trying to work things out in this society, which is part of a response to the question that was asked earlier. Uh,
Okay.
the fathers are are absent because they struggle from childhood through adolescence to emerging adulthood, understanding who they are, understanding what's available to them in this society, understanding why their education is important. There's so many young boys that I deal with today, they don't know multiplication. They're learning stuff on a computer now, and nobody knows.
Mm.
And the
Mhm.
parents, there was a social worker at one of these schools, and I was like, all right, you want the parents to help, but the parents don't know what the teachers are teaching. So how about the teachers talk to the parents and say, hey, let's get on the same page. This is
Mm.
what I'm teaching your child, and this is how you can help them with their homework. Because nowadays parents are like, man, I don't know that stuff. Oh, that ain't how we did it.
So you definitely have a point there. And I can attest to that because I have
Mhm.
seen some of the stuff that they doing in the school. It's like,
Yeah,
what is this? Like, I don't understand how you doing this, but I get
yeah.
that.
We got to
I
show up.
We
Hmm.
do, we do. I wanna,
Hmm.
shift us just a little bit because we are coming close to the end of our time, but you and I had previously talked about manhood. Part of manhood was rising to the occasion.
Yes, yes. Which
Yes. Okay.
all of the. I'm sorry. Where's you going? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Okay.
go ahead. Go.
So part of all of these things that I'm addressing tonight is the reason why us men, we need to come together and talk about the problems we're having. We need to talk about why it's so important to vote locally, why it's so important to make our community aware of what's happening. If you don't vote locally, we end up with a mayor, we end up with a governor like the governor we have, and we end up with a judge who don't care, and the school board and the superintendent who's going to say it's time for them to use computers only. And so one of the things is when there is an emergency, you have the event, but after the event, you have the damage that has to be repaired. And one of
Mhm.
the jobs of the men is to show up and rise to the occasion. What is the problem? And while you're younger, you learn how to fix things. You learn how to repair things. You learn how things are built, how to change a tire. If a young man is about 25 years old, or up to 25 to 30 something, and he doesn't know how to change a tire or change his oil or get up under that hood and get his hands dirty a little bit, he feels away,
Does
and
he?
so yes, he
Oh,
does. Whether whether he tells you or not is another thing. But
mm,
yeah, he can pay for it. But what if there is nobody to pay because you're out in the middle of nowhere with no service? your
mm.
your job is to rise to the occasion, which ties along with the skills. What do you know how to do? These tornadoes came and tore Tallahassee up. The men had to come out with the chainsaws, move the trees out of the way so the elderly can get out, the children can make their way, they could get to the stores. They still clean up these areas, putting back up electricity. And
Mhm,
so emergencies take place, transitional events do happen unexpectedly, and we
right.
are to be able to rise to the occasion, know
Mhm.
what to do. And if you don't know what to do, you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody who can come and get the work done.
Okay. All right. And then one of the other things, well, you kind of talked about it, the internet influences and the need for some real experiences and less screen time. So I think that is also critical to this conversation.
Yes, there is a thing in the scientific community considered excess screen time,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that there is a big difference between the older generations and the younger generations. And part of it is they don't go outside enough, they're not as healthy, and they're not developing optimally. They should be developing. Their brain should be working to its optimal capacity at that age, at the certain stage of life,
Mm-hmm.
and being stuck in front of a screen, thinking that all of the things that you're seeing is real, not being able to run around and get the physical fitness and exercise your mind. And we're
Mm-hmm.
social beings. So we need to be amongst each other, rubbing elbows and learning things that I don't know from this person. And so your children don't need to be given a tablet according to the data and according to this type of work. Your children do not benefit from being given a device where they can go watch it for more than 2 to 3 to 4 hours there's behavioral problems associated with it, language problems associated with it, social problems. You recognize how violent these young people are today?
Mm-hmm.
Just get in your car and drive, and you'll see
Mm,
a speeding bullet driving behind you, 2 inches behind your bumper, daring you to say anything.
right. Right. Look,
So,
and Andre, look, Andre speaking from experience, y'all, but we gonna leave that right there. All right.
God
So
is
yes, he is. Thank God for the
Deuteronomy.
mature man. Thank God for the mature man, the grown man. Yes. We want to keep growing. We want to keep maturing. Listen, Kiosha just joined us. She said she'll catch the replay. I appreciate you, Kiosha. Lawrence Bradley, who is here in Tallahassee. Berna said, I think you might need a part 3. Ooh, I don't know. But maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Listen, I want to get to my last question or point is
Mhm.
around the topic, which is you have to be a man to say what a man is. Is that true? Can a woman say what a man is, or or is that only relegated to men?
In my opinion, in order to say what a man is, you have to be open to understand what a man goes through. Most men are in pain. Most
Mm,
black men are in pain, and
mm,
we don't know what to do, and we
mm-hmm.
don't know what to say, and we wish we could come to you and tell you, but we don't want to feel like we're talking to someone who just wants to tell us what to do or ask us, well, why or why didn't you? And so the 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 proper environments become environments where men get away from women and talk amongst ourselves so we can all understand each other. And if you don't understand what we go through, and you can't appreciate why some things are going to look like the most manly thing in the world, and other things are going to look like I just don't have it in me right now, then you cannot say what a man is.
Okay, Berna says sensitivity.
Sensitivity, yes. We
Mm-hmm.
have our levels and our layers, and we're humans, and we have feelings too, and we just don't know how to tell you about them. We don't even know how to talk to each other about them because our culture has embraced a lot of just unhealthy habits, from our diet to our conversations to what we think is sexy, excuse my language,
Oh, yeah.
to to having etiquette, having
Mm,
manners, you know, a gentleman, knowing what a lapel is, knowing how to tie your tie, what type of briefcase should I wear with this belt and these
mm,
shoes? You know, does this hat look better or does that hat look better? So if you cannot appreciate that, we recognize beauty too. If you can't recognize that we recognize beauty, then look at
yeah.
yourself in the mirrors.
Mm, indeed.
So,
Indeed.
there's more to a man than what's being said and what you believe. If you want to know what a man is, talk to a man and listen to him and let him teach you.
Mm, okay. I think he done dropped the mic on that one. Ishmael Rents, my freshman brother, FAMU freshman brother out of Gainesville. He said, great topic. I think Ish said something the last time that was so profound. It was like, um, a man is like selfless. Like I'm gonna have to go back and look at it, but it was really, really, really profound. So
Remember that.
us Ish and Frankel. He said this was great. Thank you for being here, Frankel. Uh let's
Listen,
see. Willie, when are we going to do a live show at Audience Nicole? Dr. Willie, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I want to have a co-ed uh event, but I gotta make sure I have some brothers that's gonna be there, in case something it gets a little heated. So
I
I do want to have a co-ed event though where we can talk, black men, black women can talk relationships. I'm
I
working on
think I think I found his statement.
You did? What is it? What
I
was
think
it?
so. The environments, traditions, values, and generational experiences don't appear to unify, to build and establish the consistent experience of men and women during childhood and family development and structure for accountability and responsibility in adulthood. Good point on being selfless in the home. To be selfless is to find, acknowledge, and recognize the purpose for you within your family and outside your family too. Selfless is a good lesson for both genders to develop and learn. Thanks for the show.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really great. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Responsibility. We have to teach
Responsibility.
our boys to be responsible. Time management, organization, and if you commit to something, rise to the occasion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Berna said belt. Do they still exist?
Uh, and
Uh,
now yelling and cussing and fussing and, and going off. That's
yeah,
the
that's the belt now. It's
yeah.
verbal lashing, a tongue lashing.
Yeah.
Tangela, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. I came in on the end and it seems like it was great. Thank you, Tangela. Let's see. Michelle, I think a woman can say what a man is. She has to know in order to stand in a true woman position and vice versa. Okay. Thank you for
We can
sharing.
talk about that.
Thank you for sharing that. All right. And Stan Kelly, who was on earlier, he wanted me to share a link. So I'm gonna share it. We're gonna check it out, Stan. He said there's a new platform designed to assist men of color called mancamp2020.com. So we will definitely check that out and
Yeah.
give some feedback. All right. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to give closing remarks, although I think you already did them, and then tell folks how they can connect with you.
Okay, so a boy, a son, has to be guided. As he becomes a teenager, he has to go through a rites of passage. He has to be tested and tried. He has to have discipline and character. That's why sports is very helpful to him. But there's more than just sports. There's skills and there's development and there's duties that we know he has to understand and master before he becomes an emerging adult and before he reaches 13, 14, and 15 and those the other influences of the world begin to become stronger than the influences of his home environment. Give men opportunity to grow, give men a chance to tell you what they've been through so you can understand it, stand it in the way that they're trying to tell you as opposed to what you think it might be or what it was years ago. Times change and evolution is real, and I believe it's happening right now in this post-pandemic era. And the more we come together, men, I'm proud of us black men because we are going hard trying to get these boys and be mentors to them. Let's help them find careers and teach them how to be emotional and know who they are and aim for a quality of life and mental and emotional, physical and social well-being. Thank you for joining us.
All right. And folks, y'all can connect with Andre on Facebook, on Instagram at just.n.ear and Aisha Jae at gmail.com.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay, cool. Cool. So hopefully you all have found this to be beneficial. Um, I don't know. Should we do a part 3? Y'all let me know. Maybe the part 3 will be live in person since Dr. Willie is asking for it.
We could
Maybe.
have men and women, they have like gender circles, and then
Uh-huh.
you have them come together and just like understand the situation better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Court, what you shaking your head for? Let me know. Look, let me know what you shaking your head for, sir. All right. Frank Hill said,
Nothing is perfect.
"Hey, Michelle, this was dope. Thank you both. Our pleasure. Brittany, I want to pick the mic up, but I'm gonna be nice." All right. I know you got lots to say, Brittany. Sharice, part 3, please. Okay. We'll consider it. We'll consider it. I don't know. We may have said all we can say, although I find lots of value in listening to men talk about the things that are, on their mind and in their hearts and that sort of thing. So it's quite intriguing to me. Of course, great show. Okay, thank you. Margot, I will have to catch the replay.
I
Yes.
know why he was shaking his head. Now I get it. Okay,
Oh,
it's all good.
okay.
It's all good, Mr. Cork. I can see that's what men know. We
Yeah,
ain't got to say
clearly.
much. So we
Clear.
can be
Clearly.
correct.
Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So for those of you who are new to the platform, I invite you, and he laughing. I invite you to subscribe to Conversations with Nicole. We are live here on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The focus is on mental health and wellness in Black and Brown communities. We primarily have clinicians on, but sometimes not. Last week we had on Arthur Margot Thomas, who was just in the comments talking about end of life planning. So we just try to just enlighten you and connect you and keep you informed about things that are going on in the community. So please like, please share, please subscribe, please play the videos. I'm so close to my 4,000 viewing hours within a 1-year period. So play some videos, please, 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 on YouTube specifically. Like them, comment if you will, but play some YouTube videos,
Run
please.
it up.
Yes. Okay. Berna, she said she still got a million questions. Cuz, what are your questions, ma'am? What else you want to know? See, you need to be on here, Berna. You don't be on here in a regular. That's the problem. You need to be on here. What's your questions? Text me your questions and I'll send them to Dre. Or better yet, you email him your questions, okay?
We
Because
got to
he'll
meet at the restaurant like we
she
used to do.
she in Miami, so that ain't gonna happen.
A little conference. You could do a little conversation with Nicole conference.
I can do a conference call. All right. Yes, Margot giving us a whoop whoop indeed. So this was fun. I appreciate y'all. Great conversation as usual. I know the topic was a little controversial, but that's okay. It's good to have a little to shake it up a little bit. All right. Every now and again. My sister's laughing too. All right. So listen, next week we want y'all back because next week we're gonna be talking about loneliness. Yes. It's like the new pandemic epidemic, they're saying. That's what they're saying. So we're gonna see. And we also gonna be talking about the business of marriage. The business of marriage. So Dr. Edward Williams, who was in the comments earlier, he's going to talk around that topic. So it's going to be good. So you don't want to miss it. All right, y'all have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to the fathers. Happy Father's Day. We love y'all. We need y'all. We appreciate y'all. So happy Father's Day to the fathers out there. Y'all love on the fathers this weekend and do them right. Don't just take them to the buffet. Take them to the, sit down. They order what they want restaurant, not
Get them
unless
a
they
watch.
buffet. Huh?
Get them a watch. Get them some shoes. Get them a suit.
Okay, watch sush. Ooh, all right.
Get them some tools. Get them some tools. That's
Some
what he really needs.
tools. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, take care of the fathers this weekend. It's Father's Day, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.